think it's going to be slow. You're going to have people who have been customer representatives or analysts or something like that for or accountants for 20, 30 years. 20, 30 years. And then you're going to go out and they're going to be like, what can I do? Those 20, 30, like maybe some of those accountants can become coders. Coders ain't looking too good. Like it's maybe some of those accountants can, like they certainly can't go into physical labor. It's just like it's the market right now. If you lose your job right now, where do you go? It's just like the market doesn't look good right now. That's my whole point. It's just like,
but the unemployment rate isn't that high right now,
and that's my whole point. I don't think the unemployment rate. I don't think the stock market is reasonable. A reasonable metrics. Like to me, a reasonable metric of the economy and the health of the average American citizen isn't that our per capita is something like 80,000 per citizen. It's do you have $500 in terms of an emergency expense if your son broke his leg or if the tire blew or if like let's say if you hopefully it doesn't happen, but like you need a new kidney, you need to get a surgery. Is our market sufficient so that Americans can do reasonable things, everyday life things, and hold that title of being the best country in the world? If not, what are we?
And so here's my metric is if you, let's say you're a family, and if both people work full time, you should be able to have a respectable living, right? You should be able to have housing and internet and electricity and gas and a vehicle. You should. Right now, if you can't, then that's when you got to start thinking about minimum wage and other government programs or whatever you got to do. But the point is, if you work a job and you're two people, you should be able to be. I mean, it's not going to be great, but it should be okay. Now, in terms of if they can afford things, a lot of stuff is personal decisions, right? Like, some people will save a lot of money and they don't have expensive taste. Other people, they want to go and spend everything they have, and they got fancy rims and they can't do stuff they want to do or whatever. So I think there's a lot of like decisions that like spending and stuff that kind of goes into the equation for what people can afford. But like assuming that you do make decent decisions and you're working full time, you should be able to cover the basics that you need to have a respectable life. That's kind of my vision for the low end of society is work, and you should be respectable.
You should be, right, but we're not there though, and that's my point. And that's where if people and that's where I don't think it's a winning argument. If Democrats say let's maintain the status quo right now, I think a lot of people would be on the fence about that. They're like, if I get to live the same life that I have right now, and that's what you're saying is my consolation for voting for you, I don't think that's a winning message. My life is not reasonably good right now.
I agree. I'm not saying that my perspective is good marketing, and that's what I don't think I'd be a good candidate because I'm too honest. But I think that's the responsible move is to say we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to continue, and we're not going to hit you with the she, her, they, them, and then look at you sideways when you don't too. Right.
Right. I mean, yeah.
We're just going to be reasonable, and it's going to be the America that you always knew is what it's going to be.
I'm saying, but then maybe that's not like, again, like to me, socially going to the center is doing that. It's just like going back that should be the message, the America that you knew socially. It's just like back when there was 2 bathrooms and you didn't have to be confused about what you were saying when you were in an interview and actually your pronouns. It's just like my what? It's just like, so I can understand that. But I think to me, I think there's a natural, and not even natural, a reasonable proclivity to maintain the status quo. And I think not only is it reasonable, it's practical, but I think it's in fight with optimal. And that's the fight. I think it's always going to be that fight. Maybe that's seen as progressive, but I think policy to me.
I think we should look for opportunities to improve. Like, I'm not saying that we just rest on our laurels, but I'm like highly skeptical of anything, especially anything big. Right? I'm thinking like small stuff. Like I said, like how about we, start looking at investing in programs to funnel more people towards blue collar, than higher education, then that'll help young men make more money and serve a lot of jobs that are high paid and underserved, like stuff like that. Like just I ain't like changing
reasonable.
the whole system. It's just like, let's just redirect some of the stuff we have now to be a little more efficient. Let's make sure young people know what actually makes good money and what we need, and like incentivize that. Like, so yeah, I'm just thinking like just low effort, stuff.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not. I think it's 100% reasonable, and I would certainly be for all of those programs. I just think there is. I think people want something.
You're right. You're right.
Something a little more.
You're 100. And again, that's why Chris was like I don't even know what party has the old school capitalist. Like everybody's populism on the left, populism on the right.
Right. And that's where it's just like if
and that's where Bernie Sanders and Trump have the overlap.
Absolutely.
Even though they're way different, out of respect to Bernie.
Right. Yeah. And my point is like if we're not going to recognize that that's where people are, the consequence is where we are now. And that's
yes, but dangerous. I don't want to just follow them, though, man. Like you're right. I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that the market wants what you say they want, but I don't think is right. I disagree with the market. Now, when you disagree with the market, you just lose, right? Which is my problem.
I think, and it's in contrast to what I said previously. So this is me throwing some faith out there. I think majority of the time, this is contradictory, people get it right. I think, but we damn sure didn't this time.
Majority of the time, we get not this time. Now, don't look at this. Don't look at yesterday. But besides that,
we damn sure didn't get it right this time. But generally speaking, I have faith in this.